I'm with Professor Roger Kneebone, who's developed a state-of-the-art simulation for neurosurgery. So, Professor Kneebone, would you be able to explain what this is all about?
Yes, we've been showing here at the Neurotrauma Conference at the Royal Geographical Society a simulation of a common operation in brain surgery, inserting an external ventricular drain to a mixed group of neurosurgeons and other clinicians involved in the care of neurotrauma patients who don't go to the operating theatre. And we're using an approach that we call distributed simulation, which is something we've developed in my own research group, of a low-cost, portable way of showing what goes on in a clinical environment that most people don't have access to, namely the operating theatre. We've got an inflatable enclosure and a few props, almost theatrical props within it that allow us to get a sense of a patient on the operating table having an operation under an operating lamp with surgical instruments being carried out by members of the team. But actually, the props are very lightweight, portable, and we brought the whole thing over here in the back of a taxi.
Fantastic.
It took us about half an hour to set up in a place that does not normally have anything to do with medicine at all, because it's the Royal Geographical Society. And this is an approach that we've been exploring for using simulation as a flexible means of bringing closed worlds into wider view. So what happens in the operating theatre with members of the public, with patients, showing them what happens, or in the case of this conference, with various different kinds of professionals.
And why do you think that's important to get that across to people who will never do surgery themselves?
I think it's important if you're a part of a kind of care, if you're looking after patients with head injuries, for instance, to have an understanding of what the whole process of care is. Because I think as clinicians we tend to be focused on the one bit of the system that we work in. If we're paramedics, we spend our time moving patients around and giving roadside assistance. If we're intensivists, we spend our time in an intensive care unit largely. We tend to live within silos. But I think in order to understand the patient's experience and what the whole thing is about, we need to have an understanding of what goes on in the bits we can't see. And it's not enough to read about those bits. We need actually to see them and see what the people who do that all the time actually do. And that's what we're about here, is we're providing a sense, we're not just hearing what people tell about the work they do, but we're seeing them do it, and we're seeing how they do it, and indeed sometimes through simulation taking part in what they do, even though it's not something that we do.
And where's the future of this going? Have you got more simulations up your sleeve?
Yes, I lead the Centre for Engagement in Simulation Science at Imperial College, and our work involves collaborating with clinicians of many kinds. Of course, neurosurgeons here, with Mr. Mark Wilson and his colleagues, but we also collaborate with a number of other clinicians in other branches of surgery particularly, and with biomedical scientists, and also with experts outside medicine altogether, to bring different perspectives on the world of surgery. And I think simulation is going to play an increasingly important role in education as time goes on, as traditional ways for people to learn no longer work. When people no longer have the opportunity to spend as long in the operating theatre learning by doing as they used to, we need to find other ways in which people can develop the skills they need to be not only good at technical procedures, but to be skilled, compassionate clinicians who look after every aspect of their patient's care.